your classwork. And for this week, so you know how you're getting.
We're going through a couple things here, but
We're
Jahi owns our life right now.
He has the power. He didn't want to give it to me.
Whoever did it
earlier. I was like,
yeah.
Hey, Jahi, make me host. He was like, no, son. He didn't.
All right, you're host now.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind.
See ya.
Jahi, she's co-host.
It's the same thing, you know?
Not really.
You see these issues, Lindsay? These are issues that we've had to deal with since day one. Can't have a woman in power now, can you? Rude.
I'm leaving.
Bye. Get breakfast. All right, guys. Let's do it. We've given them enough time. Well, quick recap. Oh, sorry, my screen's all wobbly. How are you guys, first of all? How are you guys doing? Unmute yourselves for a second. Let's talk. I want to see and hear more than a thumbs up on this one. Yeah, we're good?
We are good.
Awesome. We're alive,
Good.
right? Good.
Another day in paradise.
You know, out here in the jungle, in the streets.
Well, you're in the jungle, but
I know, right? It feels like it.
yeah.
All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and go through a rating first. I want to get that out of the way. You know, keep it as we normally do, and then we'll go ahead and talk about all the other good stuff that I want to talk about with you. So let me see if it'll allow me to share this screen. Since I am not in power, I guess I am co-host. So let's see. Oh, that's not what I wanted to share. Let's stop. All right, guys. Find it here. All right, we can all see it. Awesome. So mental health, we had our check-in. Very few people actually did their Monday check-in. But for those of you who did, thank you very much. These are very helpful. We went over our how will I make small changes? So very quick review on that. Some of you said you wanted to get back on meditating, starting a journal, 5 minutes of mindful breathing, taking long walks, more sleep. Jansen, I remember we compromised to 10 o'clock. I'll ask about that a little later. More sleep, having that morning gratitude. I really like that one. That was for Sarah. She was not in our meeting last time, but she contacted me after and we talked on it a little bit. To-do list, short and long-term projects. That was for Alicia. Gratitude list for Dana. Morning pages, daily walks, daily games, to-do list. I want to hear how that worked for you, Monica. And then we have journaling at the end of the night. So we'll talk on that and recap really quick after. And then for challenge 2, I had some self-love language practice, which is what I sent you guys through the email. I sent you guys a little, what it looked like a calendar, right? Because it's set up to be a day-by-day calendar on self-love. And given the fact that we talked on the love languages and how we can do that, you know, to just take a second and be kind to ourselves and how to take care of us, how to do that in small, you know, portions, with small actions, whatever makes sense to you. We had, for example, day 1, where do deep breathing exercise. Some of you guys have that for your small change. It was, let's see, I saw it. 5 minutes of mindful breathing. That was Chester, right? So that was actually one that we had. It looked something like this on your email. There's something called on here, it's saying listen to your favorite music. That's another one. Budgeting, 20 minutes of spa time for yourself, scheduling a game night, setting a mini goal, complimenting someone, taking the time to just say something kind or something nice to someone else, planning a night with friends. That's a little hard right now, but maybe like a Zoom call or some sort of gathering, drink just water today. That's something that we started off with at the beginning of the challenge. So these are just very small reminders of how you can take care of yourself, how you guys can do a little self-love. So that was challenge number 2. I don't have very many filled out for you guys. Again, there wasn't a lot of check-ins for Monday. So I'm guessing that's why a lot of these were empty. So that makes me a little sad, but I'm just gonna move on, okay? I'm not gonna make anyone feel bad about that. But just know I am sad about it. I have Lindsay here who says, I am thankful for a healthy body, okay? And that's a very good practice of self-love. The challenge 3 is going to be your Zoom call with Dr. Francisco Navarro, who's going to be with us at 2 p.m. today. So if that's something that you guys can make time for, that would be awesome. I think it's going to be a good follow-up to our mental health pillar. Now, let's do our check-in for day 22, okay? This is where we're at now. I'm going to go back to the very beginning. Gary, how are you doing with hydration today, up to today?
4.5.
4.5. What about nutrition?
5.
5. What about mental health?
3.5.
3.5. What about exercise?
Not good this week
I
because
know
my
why.
ankle.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
before that, you've been pretty good about it.
I was getting back. Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
I'll
3.
say 3.
Okay, fair enough. 3. All right. Joanne, I don't think she's in. Chester. Hydration.
3.
3. Nutrition.
3.
Mental health
4.
and exercise.
4.
Jansen. Hydration.
5.
Nutrition.
4.5.
Mental health.
4.5.
Exercise.
4.
4. I've seen you, girl. You've been on. Alicia. Is Sarah in? She's not in. Alicia. Hydration.
4.
4. Nutrition.
3.
3.
3.
Mental health. 3. And exercise.
4.
4. Awesome. Dana.
All right, so let's see. Hydration, 4.
4. Nutrition.
5.
Mental health.
4.
Exercise.
5.
All right. Who else is on here? Monica. Hydration.
Yeah, 3.5.
Nutrition.
3.5.
Mental health.
4.
4. And exercise.
3.5.
3.5. Awesome. And Lindsay, hydration, sorry.
3.5.
Nutrition.
3.
3. Mental health.
4.
4. And exercise.
4.
4. Awesome. And I think that's all we have. And we'll come back to this in just a second. I'm going to stop sharing for a bit. Okay. So those are our numbers across the board of we're going to start week 4, which is pretty fast if you ask me. I feel like we just started this, but a quick little insight on this pillar. I think, I know that this was the pillar where I got the most responses from, which is interesting to me only because I don't see very many check-ins on the Monday slots, but a lot of you actually reached out to me personally on the pillar and on the mental health, mental wellness subject. And I wanted to take a bit of time to speak on that a little further. Again, guys, we are not professionals, and I have a fight with just saying that simply because when things like that are said, like, well, we're not professionals, so we don't want to, but we're human. So we should be talking about these things. And it's not necessarily, from a professional standpoint, let's put it that way. But I think as people who spend so much time together on a daily basis at the gym, not through Zoom, or we're just, so familiar with each other, it shouldn't be such a stigma on whether it's talked about or not. And I think mental health for all of us is different. It's defined differently. I had one of you guys reach out to me, getting into depth on the subject about what is mental health, right? Is it the absence of happiness? Is it, depression? Is it anxiety? What is mental health? So I thought that I wanted to take a bit of time to get a little deeper into it with you guys. And this is as a friend standpoint, as your coach standpoint, it's just, as people who spend time together, what is that for you? What is mental health? How do you feel that defines you and defines all the other pillars for you? Last week, we talked about reality and perspective. And that was a good wake up, eye opener for me, because I'll go over it again. I felt that mental health was my balance pillar. But the fact is that it isn't. My balance pillar is not necessarily mental wellness. It's all the other four that give my mental health and my mental wellness a result. That's a result of all the other four, right? So I think for most of us, it's very similar, where we think, well, I really want to eat better. And I think that's my balance pillar. That's if that's good, everything else is good. Is it really? How are you guys basing, or how well do you guys know yourselves in regard to your mental health, right? And this is just the perspective of how we're looking at it. This is not, whether you're sad in the morning or whether you're depressed. It's more of what causes or what triggers that sort of response for you personally. I think that for me, I know, and I came to the conclusion that when I work out, everything else slowly starts falling into place, right? And again, my mental health being the result of everything. I work out and I'm like, okay, I want to eat better. I feel motivated to keep myself a little tighter on what I'm cooking or on what I'm ordering. Sometimes I'll order takeout, but I'll order some Mediterranean, right? And keep it a little healthy versus getting a burger or getting whatever it might be. So I feel like this shift in going into quarantine and being inside the house and having to adapt to so many things was very new to everyone, and it affected us all differently. So I wanted you guys to take a second and think about what mental wellness is for you personally. What is that for you? Where do you find the balance entirely? Is it, in exercise? Because if it is exercise, guess what? We are connected through exercise. We are your exercise family. And it dawned on me on how much of an impact Neela has made in your life, and how we might just be that main pillar for you. And the fact that we had to shift from coming into the gym to going on Zoom, how incredible that impact was on your personal life. And I wanted to personally reach out, if that's the case, of how we can be better. How can we provide, because that's where we are professionals, right? So how can we give you that help? How can we reach out to you and say, guys, what can I do for you in that pillar, in that regard? I can totally give you my help. And I know Paul is more than willing to. I feel that as a team, even we have been trying our best to stay in touch with you guys, even, through love language. And I'll give you a very quick one, acts of service, right? One great act of service that Paul and the team, I feel, has done for the community is allowing for you guys to borrow equipment, right? So recognizing how as a whole, as a team, we are trying to help you guys remain some sort, or keep some sort of sanity in that department. So that's what I thought about during the week, on how I'm here thinking that mental health is, my main, when in reality, it's the result of all four. So if you guys could take a second to think about that, I'm not gonna ask you guys each, what that is for you, but I just really want you guys to take a second to reflect on that and what it really is. If it's exercise, guys, we are here to help. Like we are trying our darnest. If you need some sort of call every day in the morning or a text or a reminder, work out, let's get up and work out. We can do that. Like it's done. So that being said, on the mental health, let me take this. I'll give me 1 second, guys. There we go. On the mental health pillar, I want you guys to tell me one thing that makes you happy. Any random thing. It can be anything from, you know, shopping or spending time with my family, whatever it is. It can be, again, this is relative, okay? So don't say something that you feel it will make sense for others. Say what makes you happy, like you. I'm actually very interested to hear this answer. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys like 3 seconds, just 3. 1, 2, 3. You guys are ready? Dana's thinking. All right, Gary, tell me one thing that makes you happy.
Spending time with my husband.
Perfect, I love it. Chester, what's one thing that makes you happy?
Cooking my own meal.
Cooking your own meal, yes. Alicia, what's one thing that makes you happy?
Music.
Music, yes. Jansen.
Hanging out with family and friends.
Love it. Monica?
Dancing.
Dancing.
I already know what I'm gonna do for you guys.
Dana.
Is there anything?
Friday night movie nights with the family.
Oh, okay. So you do it every Friday.
Yep, tonight.
Okay, I love it. Lindsay.
Tonight's movie night.
Spending time with kids. My nephews
Spending time with
and
kids.
kids in my life.
Perfect. Paul.
Hugs.
Hugs, yes. And for me, I would say definitely my mother. So these are all things that I'm pretty sure you guys, if we put them all together, they could also go on your list, right? I'm pretty sure, Dana, your mother makes you happy. Chester, I'm pretty sure Friday night movie might make you happy. So these are just different things that make us who we are, okay? Now, exercise-wise, now I'm gonna bring all that happiness and narrow it down to the exercise pillar. What about exercise makes you happy? Okay, think about that for a second. Or what do you feel exercise fulfills for you? And again, it can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be anything. This is gonna be personal answer. Go for it, Gary. What does exercise do for you? How does it make you happy? Oh, sorry, Gary, you're muted. Let me 1 second. Go for it.
It's time that's spent specifically on me. Like it's just focused time. That's my time.
You time. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Jansen.
Yeah, same with Gary. It's like, you know, and because you guys tell me what to do, I don't really have to think much.
You're guided. Yes, absolutely. Okay, Monica.
It's focus time for me to just like release any energy. And it's also a time where I feel accomplished once I'm done.
Absolutely. Sense of accomplishment. Yes, Chester.
That was my answer.
Yeah.
A sense of accomplishment.
Absolutely. Okay. Alicia.
Yeah, same as Monica and Chester. Sense of accomplishment. I know if I don't work out for like 2-3 days, I start feeling really like lethargic and
Yeah.
so the good energy it gives me.
Yeah, absolutely. Dana.
I think for me, I think for a lot of years, I couldn't find anything that fulfilled that need for, I guess, like that team atmosphere, like community, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
for me, I mean, that's what keeps me like at Neela. It's that sense of community, no matter whether I'm like, you know, have a bad week working out or a good week, you know what I mean? That knowing that you guys are there, like that's what keeps me coming back.
Right.
know?
The environment, the community,
Yeah.
of course. Got it. Lindsay.
What I love about exercise is because you guys tell me what to do. Whoever said that, I was like, yes. It's like a place where I can push myself. And so I actually think I process a lot of like feelings, emotions, like something kind of happens when I can just focus on like pushing myself. And so since you're
Right.
guiding me through everything, I can just, so I think it's a really good place for me to process.
Yeah. Okay. So again, I think this is one of those things where you guys are giving your answers and you're like, yeah, that applies. That applies to me too. So we have these shared feelings on this pillar, on what exercise is for us. Sense of community, right? Your social surrounding, you have to feel safe in it. I'm pretty sure that if you go to a 24-hour fitness, Dana, that would totally shift for you, right? You're like, I don't want to be here, I don't know these people, or whatever it is. It's just the environment, right? And I'm pretty sure that it would be the same for all of you. You don't get that same, sense of belonging in a 24-hour gym or any sort of Globo gym. It's different. So I think that's a very good point. And I feel like that's another huge reason for the majority of our community that, goes to NELA. It's the sense of community, the sense of belonging. Now, the sense of achievement, right? It's a challenge. As humans, we yearn for challenge. We yearn for that sense of accomplishment. And I think another thing that we yearn for, and this is something that someone else in this group reached out to me about what mental health is. If it's the absence of happiness, that means that you're not mentally well, or even going deeper into what is it? Like, what is really mental health? How do we find happiness? What is it? And the sense of validation, right? I feel like we all thrive on our feelings being validated or emotions being validated. And I think in some capacity, exercise, or the way that we manage exercise, in a CrossFit gym, in our gym, is the validation, right? That you guys did something together, and we have different levels of level 1, level 2, we have RX, we have whatever it is. Everybody's doing the same workout, a different capacity, whatever it might be, but the validation of getting something done, that you guys accomplished it, is huge. So I think that's also something very important that we can all agree on, that sense of accomplishment. Like, yeah, I did that. And then 2, there's another one where you said, you guys tell us what to do. So the sense of guidance, you guys are being guided. You feel safe. You feel safe because you're being told what to do and you're being watched over. So you have the ability to let go of everything that you have in your mind. And this includes not just like exercise related, but you're like, okay, I'm here for an hour. They're telling me what I have to do, I can focus just on that. I'm not worried on the work that I have to turn in by 8 o'clock. I'm not worried right now about what I have to make for my kids to eat for dinner. I'm not worried about anything other than me and how I'm going to do it and getting it done, right? So I think it's also that sense of liberation, going to what Gary said. It's me time. I get to focus it on me. And it's if you wrap all of those things up, it's self-love, guys. That's self-love right there. That's one of the biggest ones. You guys are giving quality time to yourselves. And that's the big impact on what I have realized or I have realized over the years, but we tend to forget sometimes of how big of an impact we make in your life. So as NELA, to you, again, I'm going to keep repeating myself. If there is anything that we can do to make your experience better, please, 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 please let us know if there is anything. If you're struggling with getting online, if you're struggling with, staying motivated, if whatever it is in that department, we can fully say, we got you. Like, we'll help you out and we'll figure something out for you, because we are definitely a huge, huge part in your life. We're a huge part in your mental health. And if we cannot help you overall with the mental, from a doctor's perspective, maybe, but we do make an impact, and we know that we can make a difference. So I wanted you guys to know that. I enjoyed reading your emails very, very much. It was the pillar where I got the most responses from. So it was very clear to me that just as I realized, all the other 4 pillars are so important that they give my mental health this safety net. Like, it's a result. So I want you guys to be mindful of that. Your nutrition, your hydration, your rest and recovery, all of that, guys, those are the main pillars. Those are the most important. Your mental health is going to come with it. And if we as exercise are a big pillar for you and it's so important, we're very aware, I'm very aware now that we're all very similar in that regard. So let's go ahead and talk about exercise now, right? Because we're kind of shifting that mental health into exercise. And I want you guys to think of a small change that we can do in that exercise pillar that's going to help us take a step forward into balance. So I know actually most of you have been on Zoom classes. For the majority, I've seen you guys almost on a daily. So what is something that you guys can do in that department to make a small change? I know I see Alicia almost every day on Zoom. I see Jansen, I see Dana, I see him sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. Gary, I know Gary messed up his foot, guys. He went out for a dangerous walk and twisted his ankle, and now it's all swollen and he's recovering, right? So now he was, he's being a little hard on himself with like, oh, I was getting back into it and now my ankle, and shit happens. Gary, you're gonna make it through, okay? I promise you, you're gonna make it through and you're gonna come back. You're gonna heal that ankle. So the reminder of being kind to yourself in that department as well. But what can we do? What can we do to make a small change to be better? And I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen one more time and we'll talk on it. Cool. All right. How will I make a small change? Exercise. Gary.
This sounds really silly, but I just have to clean off the patio.
Perfect.
It's obvious that this is going to be lasting for a while. So I think I was living in denial. So I think I just need to move the furniture out of the way.
I love it. Clean up the patio. And that's going to give you a sense of accomplishment for sure. Once that's done, I love it. And it's going to keep you moving. Just be kind on that ankle, okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Chester.
I'm a little unclear with the question. Is this small changes in my exercise routine?
Yeah, like I said, most of you guys have been pretty on top of your exercise. I feel like I've seen most of you guys working out. I mean, Chester, we don't get to see you very much because you're busy, and I feel like you've been squeezing your workouts in during your downtime, whenever that may be for you. But yeah, like, so for example, Gary right now, it doesn't necessarily, I mean, it's exercise, right? But for him right now, he has a busted ankle. So exercise can be anything that's going to keep you or give you that sense of, like we said, meshing in your mental wellness. For Gary, cleaning up the patio, maybe it's that sense of accomplishment, right? That exercise gives you. So these things that you get through exercise, maybe meshing that in, if you, let's see, want to maybe add for you, I know you really love exercise.
I have an answer, actually.
You do? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe 5 minutes of abs or something. I don't know, it's different for everyone. What do you got?
I haven't been incorporating mobility a lot.
Oh.
I mean, I have a foam roller
You have it,
at home,
perfect.
so
And it's just there, right?
it's just there collecting dust. So
Perfect.
I'll
That's
clean
it.
it up and start putting that into my routine.
Mobility and rolling out. There you go. I love it. Perfect. All right, Jansen.
I need to stretch more.
Also, so stretching. And I think during class, I've been telling you guys that when is the best time to stretch? Post-workout is always the best time. When you guys are done and you're dying on the floor, you're like, I did that, I accomplished it. You give you guys some self-love. That's probably the best time for you to roll out and do mobility, Chester. That's probably the best way or the best time for you to stretch. 5 minutes, guys. It's a good start. I love it. Alicia.
I was gonna say like incorporate walks, but yeah, I need to stretch more too.
Okay, so
I'm
incorporate.
starting to feel, I would usually do the bands after workouts.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm not doing that here. So yeah.
So stretching, perfect. No, doing it post-workout is the best time to do it. Dana.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh.
I've been
Dana,
doing-
you're very
I've been
funny, sorry.
pretty consistent at 8:30 in the morning. So
Uh-oh, we lost him. Dana, we lost you. Your audio is very cutty off. Uh-oh. Okay, we'll come back. I think he's stuck. Okay. Monica.
So definitely stretching is something that I would like to incorporate, and maybe having a second walk with my dog.
Okay. That one. All right, and Lindsay.
Stretching for sure.
So again, guys, stretching is, do it whenever you can. Post-workout is amazing. The rolling out, I suggest you guys do it before your workout. Sorry, I wanted to clarify that. So rolling out, like with your roller, all that stuff, that it's pretty beneficial prior to working out. The stretching, I would suggest that you guys do it post-workout. Also, you guys might be aware, but we do have Jordan doing stretching recovery on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if that's ever something that you guys can squeeze in, maybe even once a week, that's there for you. Again, like we said, we're trying to help you guys out and see how we can make the experience better. And Jordan is providing our members with a stretching recovery class. We also have one on Sunday, 10:30. Am I right, Paul? I don't know, mess it up. I think, yeah, it is 10:30 on Sunday with Coach Bobby.
Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday and Sunday.
There you go. So we have it 4 times a week, guys. If you guys can take the time to, you know, just zone out and do some stretching, those are there for you. Okay, just want to make sure that you guys knew that. All right. So here are our small changes, sorry, cleaning up the patio, mobility. So that's going to be a big one, I think, this week for you guys to mobilize, to roll out, to stretch out, incorporating walks. That's going to be perfect. All right, and just as a gentle reminder, very gentle, okay, if you guys can do your check-ins on Mondays, that would be awesome. I feel like over the weeks, we've gotten a little slow with the check-ins on Mondays, and I was hoping we could keep those numbers in just for reference. If you guys can do that. Remember, you would log in on Monday, do your Monday check-in, and then check your challenge too, also.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the self-love language practice. This one might be a little, take a little time for you guys to think on, but I want us to go back, Gary, self-love language practice. What can we do in that department?
Probably schedule either a game night or just a meet up with some friends.
Perfect, schedule a game night.
I had one last night that I didn't organize, but it made a huge difference.
It
was just
did,
good
right?
to see
It
people.
does. Yes.
Huge difference.
Did you do it over Zoom or were people over actually?
It was on Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah. We need that social interaction, guys. And yeah, absolutely. I love it. Chester, what about you?
What's the question?
The question is, what will you do for self-love, like a self-love practice?
That's tough.
I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
It can be something very simple, okay? It doesn't have to be like all intimate or deep. It can be something like, I trimmed my hair, or I, you know, whatever it is that requires that you take care of yourself. Jansen.
The stuff is good.
I started meditating.
You started. So you're doing that. How often are you doing that?
Every other day.
For how long?
Since Monday, because I saw your little challengey thing.
Love it. So that was your start meditating. I love it. Meditating is difficult, guys. I feel like I struggle with meditating because I can't keep my head quiet. I struggle with it. Having like silent time. I think I've mentioned to you guys before that I was getting anxiety attacks while I ate, while I was trying to sleep, and while I was driving. And I noticed it's because it's when like I'm quiet. Like I noticed I didn't have music on, and it's scary, but at the same time it's like, damn, maybe you should start meditating. You should learn how to calm those demons because they can get really loud. So I might just take some tips from you meditators, because that's probably one thing that I'm not good at. I'm not good at meditating for sure. There's an app. There's an app for everything nowadays. Alicia.
I think go for a walk outside.
Yes, that's something else that I've been wanting to do, going for walks. All right. Let's see. Dana, is he back? Oh, Dana, sorry,
Yeah.
you were cutting out earlier.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
I'm gonna make some calls to some out of town family just to see how everybody's doing.
Some checking in, yes. And text, if you know, calls are too much, text sometimes helps. I like that one. I like that one, Dana. Monica.
So starting back a practice that I had called moving meditation. So it's like dancing, but it's like where I can just let go of all the thoughts and just have a moment of time.
Love it. Moving meditation. I haven't heard of that one either. Good, I like it. All right, Chester, are you ready? You got something?
Yes.
For us? All right.
I'm gonna do some gardening.
Can I come? Gardening.
Gardening?
Yes, I want to garden.
Yeah, it's therapeutic.
It is. This is the reason why I ended up with so many plants, guys. I only had like 2 or maybe 3. My house is full of plants now. I know that's not gardening. I know it's not gardening, but you know, putting them into pots and listen. So, I love them. I love all of these. They're awesome. I will be definitely checking in with some of these. I will start meditating myself. I have a very hard time with it. At the beginning of this quarantine, if you guys remember, I had a ring on my finger. The ring is gone. My relationship ended, and it was very difficult. It was extremely, extremely difficult for me, for my boy. And I hadn't been really ready to talk about it. You know, I kind of just notified Paul and the team just to, because I needed a little bit of time. It was a difficult time in itself. And I felt that I spiraled a little bit out of whack. When Paul asked me to do this or suggested a challenge, and, you know, I started thinking on it, and it was a little scary for me, only because I felt that maybe I wasn't the adequate person to lead something like this, because I didn't feel I was in the right mind space to do it. And the thing is that I was probably in the best mind space to do it. When you're feeling a little, you know, all over the place, when you're really starting to see things for breaking them apart, it made me think. It made me think a lot about, you know, how am I going to do a challenge for people where maybe I'm the one that needs to challenge the most. So this has been a very like bittersweet experience. And I only say bittersweet because it's helped me kind of think beyond, and this is something that Paul will go back to it, you know, the reality and the perspective of the situation, of what was going on. I closed myself up really, really terribly. And I do that a lot. I do that where I just, if things are happening in my life, and I'm very good at hiding it. I am so good at hiding it, unless you're in my immediate circle and we're constantly, you know, talking, or I think Paul actually saw a lot of it because we were, you know, working so much and we were constantly in touch. But I wanted to tell you guys that you guys are all, from where I'm looking at it, from where I'm seeing things, you guys are all doing amazing. And that we are very happy, that I am very happy to see your faces on the screen for class, that I'm very happy to see your faces on these calls. I know we started off with a lot more people, but you guys have been on these calls every Friday. And I know it's because they mean something to you, they're important to you, and I appreciate that, because my feelings are being validated and my work's being validated, and that makes me feel accomplished. So on the token of talking about what exercise does for us and what all these pillars do for us, I wanted to tell you guys that your presence in my life makes a difference. And that for me, exercise goes beyond just the exercise. It goes beyond, as a coach, the people that I get to meet, the people who consider me a good coach, the people who maybe don't consider me a good coach, but take my classes anyway and enjoy them. Whatever it might be, you guys make such a difference for us. And I say that for us as a team, and I say that for me personally. And I am so excited. I'm so excited to get back into the gym and, you know, spend the time that we like to spend together, even if it's just an hour a day. So I wanted to share that with you guys because I got so much responses from you on this pillar, and I don't want it to be something that can't be talked about. I want to feel like I can talk about my life without feeling like I'm going to be judged or like I'm going to be talked about, which at the end of the day, if it happens, it's not in my control, right? So I'm very excited to have you guys back. And something else that Paul said that made him happy was hugs. I cannot wait to hug you guys. Like, I cannot wait. I love hugs. And one of my pet peeves is, just so you know, okay? One of my pet peeves is when you go in for a hug and the hugs are like this, like they're kind of like to the side and they're like pat, pat, like no, a hug. Like you gotta like put your arms around and squeeze a hug. Those are the kind of hugs I like. I don't like those like lazy hugs. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but yes. Anyway, that being said, I can't wait to hug you guys, okay? I'm so excited. All right, so our challenge 3 is going to be our Zoom call with Dr. Francisco Navarro, which we are hoping that you guys can make it. Paul, can I let you talk on him a little bit?
Yes, so thanks guys. Neely, thank you for opening up, and we're all exposing ourselves in a lot of ways right now, and having the leader do it as much as us individually is a great attribute and exposure. So as you know, some of those things of like what's happening in our mind versus reality, those are some questions I'm going to talk to with Dr. Navarro. I had a prep call with him yesterday, and I did not tell him, but I am going to ask him about rating like we did on where he's at, what his number 1 is, what the most important, and discuss that. But he has gotten extensive knowledge. He is a professor at UCLA. He's been in practice for over 10 years. He has a mindset that is medication is needed in some degree, but medication is not just pill. And that is through neurofeedback, that is through exercise and health of nutrition and diet. And 9 years ago, when we opened and him and I are like going through ideas, some of the conversations that he had, and Dana remembers this, probably Chester's early days with Dr. Navarro, and they did early classes from time to time. But some of the things that he talked about is beating the devil out of the bed. Like you're gonna find out he gets up at 5 a.m. every day, and he's tried supporting me to a 4:30 class a.m. And he was like, if you do it, I can assure you I will get 10 people there a day, because I need this for myself as much as they need it for them. 5:30 came because of that. I met him in the middle, and he now is a 5 a.m. guy. He'll talk about that. The balance of how he does all the things he does, and the need of, you know, like what's the stigma of a psychiatrist versus a therapist, and why are there raps about that? It is Mental Health Month. It's bringing awareness and discussing how we can approach that and be okay communicating that through each other, through platforms, through asking for help if needed. But for the most part, it's about bringing awareness to yourself. And so going through being the devil out of the bed, the reality versus what goes on in your mind. We all have a very strong mind, and I can say I have a head case up there, and I don't know about you guys, but it can create a lot of turmoil. But at the end of the day, I also learn and remind myself what reality is versus what perceived value is. And so Dr. Navarro is going to go through a lot of that. It is 1 hour. He is broken this time away from his clients to meet with us. And I have promised that I'm going to stick to an hour, which our lunch call yesterday was 45 minutes. And I'm like, we haven't even like tipped on anything. How are we going to get through this? And he's like, I'll talk to my my caseload to see what we can do. But he's opened up a lot more hours for his patients because in a time like this, he's like, I thought I was gonna be able to spend more time in my backyard with my family. And reality is, he's like, I've had to open up hours instead of pull back. And I think a lot of us have done that with our workload. Dana gets to be in nature all day with art at his regular day job, but has your work picked up, Dana? Right?
In some ways, yes. And it's all like behind the desk of it's all behind the computer. So it's a lot more, I'm inside. Yeah, it changed.
But there's still work to be done. And his job is outdoors, like at a garden. It's gorgeous what he gets to do. But we've all had that. Jansen probably with being patient in her line of work as in the movie industry and television. Alicia too. Like there's tons of stuff that are still happening that hopefully you are getting some time for yourself. But I know Gary and Lindsay for sure have had to recreate structure with their in seminary or at school. Monica, I can only imagine what Starbucks has had to do transitioning wise. I know Chester's been traveling and doing everything. Like we all have different ways that we're going through this, and bringing it together and reminding each other that why we meet Thursday or Fridays is because we need to connect and spend some time for ourselves. Exercise does that for all of us therapeutically, accomplishing things. Keep on this. You've only got 2 more weeks of this, but we will find ways to keep it going. 2 p.m. Dr. Navarro will be great.
Anyone planning on attending? Yay. No pressure, guys. Let's see who I'm going to
If
hang
you
out
have
with.
questions, you
Yes.
can let me know. I think I have a pretty well packed hour long, but we do want to open up questions. Danny, you got something?
Yeah, he's the real deal. Dr. Navarro, he is.
Are you guys going to record that?
Yes.
Yes. It will be a podcast, but he is special. Just he connects on a unreal level.
Awesome. You guys have any questions for us or any thoughts or concerns or anything that you guys would like to share? We have a few minutes. Yeah, like 8 minutes. So anything? No news? Anything you guys want to share with me, with Paul? Have you guys done anything interesting in quarantine?
Keely, I just want to say thank you for sharing, and it's just so impactful to hear about your life and to hear what's going on, because we love you guys and you are a huge part of our lives. And so I think we often share with Paul like what's going on in our lives. He knows everyone, but it's really awesome to hear from you and to be a part of your life.
Thank you, Lindsay. That means a lot. I think it's almost like when you're growing up with your teachers and you don't know anything about them other than their names. And then when you find them in the grocery store, you're like, oh my God, that's my teacher. And it's that stigma almost, you're like, oh, I don't know anything much. But yeah, thank you. That means a lot to me. It was a little hard to talk about it simply because I felt like I didn't. It was a bit of difficult for me to understand why it happened. I felt like I didn't even have the answers myself. So talking about it with other people it was a little overwhelming. Like people sometimes want answers. Like I want answers, but you don't have them. And then it's like, how do you really talk about it? How do you share that with people? But at the end of the day, I feel like it's been, how long has it been for? Like almost 4 months, 3 months, a little over 3 months or so. There you go, 2 months. And I'm okay. I'm doing good. I think I went with the motion of the ocean and felt what I had to feel at the moment and allowed myself to cry. I allowed myself to be in denial and then be angry and then, come at peace and surrender it. And I'm here and I'm okay. I'm doing good. I'm coming together. I've had to put work in other areas where I have to find balance, with my son, myself, with being okay, with just feeling okay, I think. But thank you for that, Lindsay. It means a lot. And I mean, it happens all the time, right? It is, I'm not the only one that this happens to.
Well, and I often say, like, I see the gym family more than I see anyone in my life here in California. Like, I see so many of you every day. And I think it was really powerful to hear your story. The more I can learn about each of you. I mean, it's so funny that I know someone's name, I see them all the time, but I don't know much about them.
Right, yeah.
So I love hearing the stories or reading the updates about gym people. Maybe there's a way as community we can start to learn more about each other.
You know, funny you say that, but Paul has actually been working on something where we have almost, it's like a gym member directory almost, where, you know, people have their names and their information and then what they do. So like we have a plumber in our gym. We have, what else do we have, Paul? We have doctors. We have like dentists. We have people that like fix teeth. If you ever lose a tooth, like there's someone there that might be able to help you out.
Photographers.
I need a dentist. When is this thing going live?
So
It's live. It's just not. It just doesn't look very nice quite yet.
yeah, so we're working on it because yeah, you're right. Like we know you. We see you guys on the daily. You guys go to the gym and hi Lindsay, hi Jansen. And I at least remember in some of the classes I would ask, what do you guys do? I think I've even asked you guys, who was your first boyfriend or your first girlfriend? We've had this conversation. And it's simply because I don't know much about you guys. And I think there's things that are interesting to know. And it can be anything. So I agree with you 100%, Lindsay. I think that there's so much to us than just going to the gym, and there's a genuine connection. And I think that we should build on it. I want you guys to know that I am an open book. You guys can ask me anything, really. I'm pretty open in that regard. But yes, I think that there's so much more to us than just walking in the gym and getting a workout and that's it. I think I've learned a few things over the years about you guys. Like I didn't know that, like for example, Alicia, that she's big on the music. She's really big on the music, and I never took her for someone that would be big on the music. And there's a lot of the music that she listens to that I'm into. What's that?
No live music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's pretty sad.
Yeah, so you know, all of these sweet things, and I think of all of you, we just know very surfacey things. But yeah, I think we all have our fair share of troubles, and talking about them is always good. So you guys gave me a safe space to do that. It only took me about 3 weeks, but I thought this was a good opportunity for me to kind of let go of some of that and share it. And I feel safe. I feel safe with you. I feel safe with the fact that you guys will take it, and you guys will, you know what to do with it, or not know what to do with it. But you know,
Are those 1:30 hangouts? You know, on Friday at 1:30. Is
Yeah.
it like announcements, or is it people just? What is the 1:30
both.
hangout?
It's both. So people will hop in and we'll talk about like giving you guys updates on what's going on at the gym, giving you guys updates on like the Nila Olympics that we're running, Jahi's running, and then hanging out. Like last week, Paul left after a bit, and we stayed about like I think 20 minutes post, and we're just talking. You can already imagine what was happening. But it's a hangout, you know. But yes, we do announcements. We talk about the gym, and then when Paul leaves, we just misbehave. Yeah, that's normally what happens. But yeah, you guys feel free to hang on and do that. The more the merrier. But yes, thank you guys so much for hopping in today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. And yeah, you guys are awesome.
Work out it. Yeah.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
guys.
Bye.
Big hug, yes, Jensen. Big virtual.
Thank you, everybody.
Dana, you're gonna DJ. Oh, he's gone. Oh no, there he is. You're gonna DJ for us, maybe at the end of the challenge, okay? Bye, guys. Bye, Mr. Jerry.
Bye.
Take care of that foot, okay?
I will. Thanks.
All right. I would ask you to show me, but bye, Jansen. I can't hear you.
I'm staying for the 12.
Due to working out? Okay, have fun with that guy.
It's the only time I have shade.
Oh, this is true.